Do you see this bell icon here? Hit it now and we'll ensure you get delivered the very best of reviews, interviews and pop culture content.
I believe in giving it back. If somebody has told something, people like it when you give it back. So that is something I believe very strongly in cinema.
Yeah.
Or otherwise also. For me, I want people to whistle and clap and jump and remember those lines and can apply those lines in their lives. No, you can't be normal if you're in this industry.
Right.
I can tell you that. You should believe in that. I think all of us are in illusion. We think we are the biggest and people love us and we are huge stars or whatever it is. It's a belief system.
Prashant and Yash, it's so lovely to have you on Film Companion.
Thank you.
I want to start with something, Prashant, you said in an interview. It's a descriptor, which I loved and I'm totally stealing. You described these films as anti-gravity cinema. You said that the love for macho heroes and anti-gravity cinema is sort of built into anyone in South India who's grown up on the cinema of Rajinikanth or Chiranjeevi. And I think that's just a brilliant way to describe these films, which are not necessarily sticking to the logic of physics or geography or any logic at all, right? But I think it takes a real talent to make these. There is a certain sort of conviction that you need to have to pull this off. So I want to start by asking both of you, what are the elements that you must have, before you go into this thing of this larger than life sort of canvas?
No. Emotion. Anybody is going to tell you that first.
Emotion.
Yep. Emotion.
But the emotion, Prashant, you also have in sort of slice of life films, right?
Correct.
Or relatable movies. So what is specific about this emotion?
We should have that more so in movies like this, because when you talk about the anti-gravity or the macho kind of movies, if there is no strong reasoning behind all of this, then it's like watching set pieces. And nobody likes to just watch set pieces. They don't want to come out of the movie saying that we watch set pieces. They want to know that this guy is this powerful and he can hit 100 people. It cannot come out of just pure natural strength. It should come out of madness. It should come out of some emotion that's inbuilt. And you understand that emotion, and people will not concentrate on how can these 100 people fly. They're going to concentrate on, this guy can do it. And the believability of basically the stars down south, the portrayal of them is almost godly. So it's very easy to make movies like this with stars, because you have an image about them even when you're coming to watch the movie, and you understand that this is a superstar that can hit 100 people. You already are convinced, so your job is very, very easy. And with him, more so, it became a much easier task for me to put in all those anti-gravity elements that you were talking about. But yeah, it should come with a strong reasoning. And if that doesn't come in, then people are going to talk about your anti-gravity elements.
So you need a logic for the lack of logic.
Correct. Absolutely.
Right?
True, that's a balance one has to strike when you're doing these kind of films. But I think hope is another ingredient. It should give you some kind of hope. I can tell it out of my personal experience. Whenever I watch so-called anti-gravity movies or slice of life, all I expect is that I should take away something which will give me hope. The slice of life thing, reminds me of the issues I'm going through in my life or my friend is going through in life. But this film will relate to, these kind of films will relate to a larger number of audience, because they can put these kind of situations in their lives and they can still relate to it. I think that's the beauty of it. When somebody says, there is no logic and all of that, I think people are smart enough to understand what is logical and what is illogical. So some things are choreographed, it's stylized.
Of course.
And that they have crossed that thing, and they know this is something which it is for entertainment. The emotion behind it is what they'll be absorbing, And they also want this kind of thing because they're paying for that entertainment and they feel, yes, we are getting into another world which is very larger than life, and you get excited. If I can see the same issues or same problems what I'm going through in my life, I think a lot of people will be telling me what to do, what not to do, and there are too many such people today to guide you in life. But in cinema, we don't try to preach anything, but yet they take away something from our cinema. So we don't take it very lightly saying, okay, I'm a superstar, I'll hit 100 people. No, like he said, the reason behind it is so relatable, and it will be something like, it will evoke those kind of emotions where they feel like Maro say,
Right.
you know, and that works. It's not about how I hit,
Yeah.
it's about why I'm hitting. So I think this is the most difficult thing. That is why there are only few people, and that's why people respect these kind of cinemas by turning out in such huge numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. You
It's
know,
like watching the Spider-Man movie, you know. Right in the beginning of the movie, they say a radioactive spider bit him.
Yeah.
So that's why he can fly. So we also need our reasonings. So we try and do that with emotion.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Of course, one of the pleasures, like you said, Yash, is how stylized it is. It's great fun. It's great fun in, like in the first film when your introduction scene and you're hanging there and singing happy birthday, and there's like all these men waiting to kill you, and of course they cannot even touch you. The other pleasure, I think, is the dialogue bazi, right? Just this sort of thundering lines that you're throwing at each other, and we've seen that in the trailer with that whole line about I don't like violence, but violence likes me.
Violence, violence, violence. I don't like it. I avoid. But violence likes me.
Now, I read that you're writing many of these lines. Tell me, how is that working? Do you run it by Prashant? Do
Yes.
you brainstorm together? How does this work?
It's his world, what he has created, and he has given me a role to play, and there's a huge responsibility. But I come from that masses, and I've enjoyed movies when there's one nice sequence. By the end of it, if dialogue hero has a punchline, that gives another high. So
Absolutely.
I come from that school.
Yeah.
So I always insist, for Prashant's film, I don't think you need a dialogue. He can communicate things visually in such a way that you don't need a dialogue. But for me, I want people to whistle and clap and jump and remember those lines and can apply those lines in their lives and have that fun. And this character had to be quirky, and it had to have that entertainment element because the drama is so heavy and the emotions behind those characters are so heavy. You can't put another entertaining track, just for entertainment, a comedian or a comedy track. So I had to have that balance. So the dark humor is what we have chosen, and I kind of enjoy that. We still remember a few lines from Hindi movies. If you say Diwar or Sholay, or like in Karnataka also, there are a lot of films like Dr. Rajkumar ji ka film, Vishnuvardhan sir's film, lot of their films, we remember their dialogues.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of takeaway from those dialogues also. So we tend to discuss, and I kind of force him. So
You also forced him to do this interview.
yeah.
Yes.
What all
That
does
he
he
did.
force you into? but okay, so let's say a line that you love, like let's say this violence line, right? If it occurs to you, do you go to him? Do you guys sit down and think of it together? Like, how do we make this really effective? Is that how it works?
So most of the writing that we do, the dialogues, is the least of our concern when we're making the movie. So we wake up in the morning, he comes to the set, and while he's getting ready, we sit and we discuss. And I say, you know what, this is the idea for the dialogues. He says, we need something for this. And then he comes, he wears his costume, he comes there and he looks around and he says, you know what, we need something like this. And he just gives the basic idea, and the next 15 minutes goes into making it into a dialogue that we can, and we don't have a script there, with that dialogue.
You're
pen there.
improvising this.
We're always improvising with the dialogues.
Wow.
We're always improvising. I don't believe that dialogue should be written till the last moment because it'll always get changed. So we don't put too much emphasis on it because we know that something is going to come. And we leave that to chance. And there's not a minute that we've wasted. We have not wasted a day saying that, we don't have a proper line here. So that's the best part.
It just emerges.
It just emerges. And
I think
that's the beauty of this character
fantastic.
also.
I think with the ambience what he creates and the characters there, they're ready to say, the scene will be ready and most of the important dialogues will be ready. All these punchlines or the way I should, and I'll have a thought process. I think if this guy is thinking like this, should say something, and I believe in giving it back. If somebody has told something, people like it when you give it back. So that is something I believe very strongly in cinema.
Yeah.
Or otherwise also. So in that case, what happens is that dialogue, that character is as such where you feel like you come, you stand, and then it's like I can't just get into the thing directly. I feel he has to have that swag and little, thoda ghuma fira ke he has to get to the point.
Yeah.
That is the characterization I have in mind for Rocky. So generally we come up with these kind of quirky lines. I say, what if he says like this, and he will, of course, he will better it and he will pen it down. And sometimes, even our assistant directors will come up with something. Everybody, and that is one good quality about him. He takes it. He takes everything, and there's no such thing called ego in our sets. We all are working for one mission, to entertain our audience. So whatever works, whoever gives it, we just take it.
Prashant, how do you direct swag? What do
How
you
do I-
tell him to do?
I just give him the lines and he comes
It
out.
just, again, it emerges.
Guns blazing. That's it. I mean, he loved the character from day one.
Yeah.
He loved it so much that he started behaving like him.
In life.
Yeah, and he started putting his own personality into the character.
Because he said that the belief system is very close,
Very, very close. Yeah.
Yeah.
which is fascinating because there's not like.
I don't come
this-
across like that.
No, and this is a very problematic man. So,
Correct.
Rocky is not like.
No, you can't be normal if you're in this industry.
Right.
I can tell you that. You should believe in that. I think all of us are in illusion. We think we are the biggest and people love us and we are huge stars or whatever it is. It's a belief system.
Yeah.
So I think the world he has created, that gives me that drive. And on top of it, when I have my own experience or I feel as an actor I should be like this, I should present this character like this, it's all, you can't explain the process. To be very honest with you, it just happens. When we sit together, we think. But the sole purpose is driving the emotion and getting to that point where we need to arrive, in regular intervals. And all these things are added, this thing. I think that's why they pay us now. So as an actor, what else do you do? He writes dialogue, he creates everything, and somebody will give me costume, and somebody is capturing me, somebody is doing make. What is this thing? So you have to bring in that swag
Yours
or
is
whatever
the
you
swag.
call. Yeah.
Swag is part of the character,
Right.
but the way he improvised it was brilliant.
Yeah, the role what he has written, it's loaded with swag. Na?
Yeah.
So when you don't care about anybody, when you have a mission and you are ready to go to any extent, and there is a guy who's very confident, strong, and intelligent, then swag is like
It
taken
comes.
care. Na? So that is
But the swag also has a particular reasoning behind it. This guy was not given anything in his life. He had to
Right.
earn everything by himself.
Of course.
He had to earn everything by himself till that point. And when somebody is like that, they get defensive in life. They don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And what comes out of that is the best possible version of sarcasm. And that relates beautifully. And that's what has happened for this character also.
That's why Rocky is the way he is.
Yes.
What I'm curious about is like in the last 10 years, in Hindi cinema at least, there's been an emergence of this sort of slice of life, high concept movie, in which, you have characters who are very relatable, right? And actors like, Ayushmann Khurrana's practically created his own genre of films. There's Rajkumar Rao, there's Vikrant Massey, they're playing ordinary men in extraordinary circumstances or in circumstances that are intriguing but always relatable. This type of the anti-gravity cinema, I think successfully perhaps Rohit Shetty is making. You know, other than that, I don't see a lot of people in Hindi cinema sort of doing that very well. But it seems like now, and mostly because of South directors, the audience has really gone back to wanting this kind of larger than life hero, right? You know, with like Suryavanshi, of course, was right out of the gate when films started releasing. Then Pushpa was a massive hit in Hindi. RRR is a massive hit. KGF is part of that school as well. What do you think has changed with audiences? Why are we wanting this big thing again? Or did it never go away?
For us, it didn't.
Right. In the South, it never did. It was always there.
Yeah, you know, it's also about, I don't understand when you say that it is relatable. My question is relatable to whom and how many? Are we relatable to the small town people or the masses, or the people who are going through a lot of difficulties in their life, where they don't worry about their spouse or not giving them time? They have bigger issues in life. If you're worried about your food, if you're worried about your rent,
Yeah.
if you're worried about buying a new clothes for the festival, for them I don't think they will have issues with time, and there are different kinds of relatability. You know, you relate to masses. You know, I think that is something is very important. When you say the slice of life or whatever it is, most of the time what I see is it's also about the urban problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Or maybe slightly small town, but definitely not like rural mass. Yeah.
correct. So what we feel is we consolidate the whole thing, and we put a situation where somebody has to achieve something. Look at it like that. KGF is a story, for me it's a story about a mother, you know, who's really suffered in her life, and she wants her son to be rich. At least when he dies, she wants him to be rich.
Yeah.
So that is a relatable point for the whole of country. Maximum people will relate to it. Only 1% of people who are privileged and they get everything easily, they may not relate to it. But most of us are people who really want to work hard to achieve that. You want to have everything in life, so you have to give it all. So I think that itself is the biggest relatable
Right.
thing for me. And then the design around it is little you know, entertaining, or this thing. So I think that is where we have a major connect, or I believe that is the connect we are having. This part of the world, when they whistle for our scenes or they enjoy, that is better than the kind of you know, visuals or scenes problems I see in quite a few movies. It's not that they're not doing massive films, they do, but I think that is where the difference could be.
And also that the masses weren't allowed to see this in the theatres for about 40 years. The reason why I'm saying that is they love to watch this on cable, on
Yeah.
satellite for
Yeah.
all these years.
Yeah.
But they never were allowed to go and watch it in the theatres because the whole system thought that it will not work in theatres. And of course, Bahubali changed that for everybody.
Yeah.
They said that a South movie, which, whether it is a masala movie or whether it was because of scale and all these things, that opened the floodgates. And then KGF came in and they got a little more taste of that. Seeing what they would have probably seen 6 months later on television, they got to see it on the big screen. And then Pushpa did it. And now we're back. You know, Triple R is done magnificently well
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And you know, all these movies would have been satellite movies, but that has come out now, and it's not. When I say they were not allowed to come out, I don't mean that there are a bunch of people stopping it from happening, but nobody realized that that revolution was already in place.
Right.
And recently, the last 5-6 years, thanks to S.S. Rajamouli.
Yeah. He's the pioneer,
Yeah.
really. You know, I love these films because it's the cinema I grew up with in the 70s and the 80s on the films of Mr. Bachchan. He was as larger than life as they came. The the one thing that many of these films do, and especially the films that are being made now, is that somehow the women get very sidelined, which is what happened in Pushpa, which is what happened also in KGF, which is what happened in RRR, though not in Bahubali. Prashant, you're making, of course, a film with Prabhas Salar. You're making after that a film with it's what, NTR 31 with Tarak. These, like this one, are going to be big films about, you know, sort of oversized, sort of outsized heroes. How do we ensure that women also get a place?
They already do have a place.
Well, I'm hoping in KGF 2,
Yes.
Raveena gets to kick some butt.
Oh, yes.
No, but see, I think I beg to differ because this story is about that mother.
Right.
She's
But
a woman.
She's
She's
not,
a woman.
Of
And
course
that's
she
her
is.
intention.
I know,
And
but it's so
that's
much
her-
about you. I mean, Rocky.
It's about her son and that's her dream. So this is our expression of respecting women.
No, I'm not
And-
at all suggesting you're not respecting women. I'm just saying, can
They're
women...
not sidelined. Everything runs around in our movies also. Either you're fighting for women or, you know, you're trying to impress women.
But can we get more, I'd say, substantial female characters?
I think it depends on which point of view a director wants to tell the story. See, I
That's
was
why
telling
I'm
Mahabharata,
I'm asking the
if
director,
you want to show
insert-
Mahabharata from Draupadi's point of view,
Right,
it will be different.
right.
From Duryodhana's point of view, it will be different.
Absolutely.
And it is it's just about how you decide. Now, from Pandavas, it will be different. So when a director decides to tell a particular story, so we don't discriminate like that. So whatever that story needs to be addressed, or however that story needs to be told, I think that is what our directors are doing. I think we also have very strong characters. Like Ramika Sen character is one of the
Ishwari Rao's
character is there.
We have a bunch of them this time. I think you should ask me this question after the 14th.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll have a different view of me then.
Listen, I can't wait to see. The other thing that's very interesting to me is how Kannada cinema has really flourished in the last few years. I mean, one of my favorite films last year was Garuda Gamana, which is just a fantastic
Mine too,
movie.
mine
Yeah,
too.
Even I loved it.
I loved it. I mean, the things that Raj Shetty did, it was such a cinematic movie. What has changed there to enable this flourishing? Is anything different now?
I think it was always there.
And we
now
weren't
that-
looking?
Yes,
Yes?
I think so. We had movies like this, gems that came out every now and then, and I have loved all those movies. There are a whole bunch of them. I think now now that there's a little more spotlight on the Kannada industry the last few years. I think now.
Well, you
everything-
too had a big hand to play in that.
no, I don't want to comment on that.
So you're saying it's not like anything fundamentally has changed within the business.
I don't think they're changing at all. If they saw the success of KGF and they wanted to make a movies like KGF, they're not doing that.
Right.
When you watch Garuda Gamana, they've stuck to their guns.
Yeah.
What they believe should be the story is how they've told it. If they wanted to really encash on an industry that is that wants to move forward, that wants to spread its wings even more further, they would have done something very different.
Yeah.
I think directors, all these youngsters who are coming in, they're coming with that confidence on a different level. They're thinking like we'll be true to our cinema. And now now, like you said, a lot of people are able to see Kannada films, or it's maybe the attention is towards this thing. So it is getting its due respect, and there are some wonderful filmmakers who have always been doing films. But in terms of scale, probably to grab that attention, KGF did that.
Yeah.
I will admit that, because I don't want to be modest in this point, because I want people to get inspired and think about those things. But I think there are some wonderful filmmakers. They just need that their due respect, or if people should start recognizing and talking about them, then there will be many more such opportunities where youngsters can come in.
Yeah, yeah. The art director of KGF, Shiv Kumar, said that one of his inspirations for the visuals of the first film was Rembrandt, which I was so intrigued by, and he said because the lighting is so dramatic in those paintings. So I wanted to ask you, Prashant, is there a substantial difference in how you visualize part 2, or is it the same sort of tonality?
I don't think we did any visualizing based on what happened with chapter 1 and how we should change it for chapter 2. I think we just followed the story. And you will see semblances of that in chapter 2, what you saw in chapter 1, but we move away from that. I don't want to give away more than I've said now, but we move away from that. And you basically, you're already introduced to that world.
Yeah.
Now we don't want to again talk to you about that world. We want to talk to you about the characters, the characterizations and the drama that develops through all these new characters coming in and how it changes. So you move from geography to basically the drama in this one.
Nice. Listen, like I said, I cannot wait. Last 2 questions. Yash, you've said very clearly that you're not commenting about what you're doing next because this is what you want to focus on. But obviously, whatever you do next will be very strategic in terms of where the career goes now, right? Are there any sort of, larger thoughts, ambitions?
Yeah, we're working on a script, but I don't think from my career's point of view. First, I have to get that kind of right script. Of course, it will have all these elements. We will think about, post KGF, there will be some expectation, all of that, but that is not a primary thing. It has to be a story which will have a lot of potential, and then everything will fall in place. It's about person, I guess. Sometimes when you like that person, audience will decide. They will kind of guide you. That's been happening in my career. I didn't come
What
here
do you
with.
mean?
They will. Fans will tell you, or you will understand. When directors, they will come up with stuff, and they want to present you in a different way. If some new director is there and he would have seen Prashant's work and he say, okay, he has explored this part in him, so let me do something like this, and he will have a genuine story around it and a vision, and then everything will fall in place. That's what I believe. And when you are genuine to your work and you really are honest and doing what you are supposed to do, then rest of the things will fall in place. I'm telling this out of experience, because for you people, it will be like I'm a debutant here, but I had a career, pretty decent career,
starting
and so
with theatre. I know.
So there I've seen all these success and what happens after that. So it's a process. I think we'll figure out something.
Do you ever, as an actor, feel like the success can be limiting as an actor, because now people will only see you as this larger than life hero?
It doesn't limit you. If you have that bandwidth, or if you have that capacity to digest the success, it will enhance you. If you are afraid of losing this, or if you start enjoying this thing and say, wow, I got everything, this is what I wanted, that's when I think it will become a pressure.
So you should not digest success.
I don't give importance to that. There has been a practice. Once my movie is done, and if it has done phenomenally well, I don't even discuss about that thing, because that's done and dusted. So it is for people to enjoy, or people to judge, for them to celebrate. I look at it as a tool for my next. It's just a fuel. Your vehicle should move. You should keep moving. It's a fuel which gives you that power and strength, so you can go out there and do better things.
Yeah.
So success is always good, but you cannot hold on to success and start thinking that I'll be here, I don't want to lose this position and all of that. I don't think this is the ultimate thing in our life. I know people have been telling this is, what will you do? This thing I've been hearing since many years.
Yeah.
This is okay. What happens to your next is a very common question. Everybody will be asking me, saying, this film became a big hit, but what will you do next? That is important. After that, your position is consolidated, and
Right.
after that success also, they will just continue with the same question. So it's a process.
Yeah, Shah Rukh had told me once that the only response to success at work is work, and the only response to failure at work is work.
Yeah.
So that's all you do.
Very well said.
That's all you do. Okay, last question. In KGF 1, in the first few, in the early sections, Rocky is a young kid and he's running, and someone asks him, "Kya chahiye tere ko?" And he says, "Dunya," right? Which I felt also said something about the two of you, because that's also what you wanted as creators. You wanted world domination, right? What do you want with this one? What do you really want it to do?
What do you want to do?
I'm too scared to ask for anything right now. I hope they like the story. I hope they like the story that we are telling them beyond all the scale, beyond all the big stars who are in the movie. I really wish they like the story that we are telling, and it's a very simple story, but we are telling it on a grander scale, on a grander vision. But I want them to see that little story that still probably lingers inside the movie.
Lovely.
I feel Prashant is somebody who underplays. You know, he has done a phenomenal job, and I always respect my audience. I keep telling this. They have empowered us in chapter 1. They have given us that success. So whatever his dreams are, whatever my dreams were, so we all could do that. We all could try doing it, because you need validation in today's world. And what is the biggest validation? According to me, success is the biggest validation. So when they have given that thing, I think Ugram was a great film. Whatever he has done in Ugram definitely was a fantastic work. But when people start appreciating your work, they give you that strength. He makes KGF after that, and if they do the same with KGF, I know his strength and I know his ideas, so we can expect wonderful things from a director like him. He's an asset to our industry, Indian film industry. Anti-gravity or gravity, whatever, he has got capabilities to do all of that, and I would love to see him do bigger things. So I just want my audience to enjoy and just keep supporting us.
I'm sure they will. Thank you both. Thank you
you
so
so
much, and good luck. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like this video, please subscribe to Film Companion and hit the bell button.